After being reborn, I deliberately avoided the chance to ride in a luxury car with my crush in the same city. I constantly reminded myself that I was just a chauffeur's son. But when Bai Ling Niao looked at the empty seat beside her, she called out "Uncle" to the driver for the first time. "Uncle Lai, are you leaving already?" Li Fu was extremely surprised. "Miss, do you need anything else?" Bai Ling Niao felt inexplicably irritable. "Didn't I tell you not to wait for Li Huowang today? Huowang just messaged me. He said he has something to do with his classmates and will take the bus back later." Bai Ling Yao's face darkened. Things had changed after her rebirth. What could Li Huowang possibly be busy with? He never missed a chance to ride with her. In her past life at this time, he was afraid of making her wait too long and would always arrive early and wait in the car. However, this is also good. Her 5-year relationship with Li Huowang in her previous life became a thorn in Fong Yuan's heart. Since she got a second chance, she needed to keep her distance from Li Huowang. That day, it took me over 2 hours to walk back to the Bai family's old estate. I went around the main courtyard and entered the servants' quarters. Bai Ling Yao saw me from the second-floor balcony of the main villa. Her eyes followed me, and then she called out my name directly. I was wearing headphones, didn't hear her, and pretended not to notice. Walking straight back to the small building, Bai Ling Yao's face was cold. She strode towards the small building where the servants lived. Just as I entered my room and was about to close the door, she blocked it. "Li Huowang, didn't you hear me calling you?" I was a bit unhappy with her action. "I was wearing headphones and didn't hear you call me. So what do you need?" Bai Ling Yao suddenly realized she had been reborn. We had only recently met and weren't close. "Why didn't you take Uncle Li's car after class today?" I spoke with distance. "Are you kidding? You are the employer, and my father is the driver. With my status, how could I be worthy to sit with you? I didn't know my place before, but it won't happen again. I hope Miss Bai doesn't blame my dad." Bai Ling Yao's expression instantly turned icy. "It's best if you recognize your status. If the old master asks about it later, you explain it to him clearly. I'm not the one who kicked you out of the car." She then slammed the door shut and left. I remained calm. I will absolutely not repeat the same mistakes in this life. I have already applied for a dorm room, but I'll have to wait a few more days for an opening. The next day, I woke up early to wait for the bus. Bai Ling Yao, who had just woken up, saw me leave for school from her balcony. She stared at my back, her expression dull. "Don't think you can get my attention by doing this." A few minutes later, the bus arrived. It was crowded, and I had to squeeze my way to the back. Just as I found a spot to stand, I suddenly felt someone push me from behind. I turned to see a middle-aged man standing right behind me, giving me a slight smile. I wanted to move, but the man righteously refused to budge, insisting on standing close to me. Just then, an incredibly beautiful girl suddenly appeared out of nowhere, squeezing through the crowd while holding a pot of cactus. She said, "Excuse me," and used the thorny cactus to clear a path. She quickly reached the middle-aged man. The man was a little slow, and the cactus poked his hand. "Are you sick? Can't you watch where you're going with that cactus on the bus?" The girl stood firmly in the spot the middle-aged man had just occupied and gave a perfunctory apology. "Sorry, it won't happen again. Thanks for understanding." The middle-aged man glanced at me, turned around indignantly, and found another spot. I looked at the girl, and she happened to look down at me. Her gaze was sharp, like she was looking at an idiot. We held eye contact for a few seconds. I couldn't help but ask, "Are you making fun of me?" The girl paused. "Be careful when you take this bus in the future. There are a lot of people like that. I've seen it several times." It dawned on me that she had just helped me. "Thank you for helping me. I'm Li Huowang, a drama and scriptwriting major. Shi Hanmo. I'm a student at Bida University, majoring in agriculture." As we spoke, the bus arrived at the stop. Dahe University and Bida University were only 2 blocks apart. After getting off the bus, I wanted to say a few more words of thanks, but Shi Hanmo quickly walked away with long strides towards her school across the street. I also turned and headed back to my classes, not dwelling on the matter. This year's university welcome party was particularly lively. Bai Ling Yao was the final act, and everyone wanted to see what the little princess of the Bai family in Nanchang looked like. Only I had no interest in it because I didn't want to see Bai Ling Yao, but Yang Jian insisted on dragging me along. "It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. We finally got into college. If we don't go, our college life won't be complete. Yang Zhan dragged me directly to a seat in the third row. A senior from the logistics department was moving snacks and was visibly busy. He saw me and asked for help moving a box of bread backstage to give to the staff who hadn't had time to eat. I took the box of bread and walked around the crowd to the backstage area. Many performing seniors were waiting there. I placed the bread on a table by the door and subconsciously glanced at the dressing room inside. In my previous life, I had specifically come backstage to give Bai Lingyao her favorite berry-flavored bread because she was allergic to peanuts, and many of the breads were nut-flavored. I was afraid she would pick the wrong one, eat it, and affect her performance. But this time, I couldn't be bothered with her. After all, she was an adult. Surely she knew what the word nut meant. Inside the dressing room, for some reason, Bai Lingyao hadn't left yet. The door was finally knocked. Liu Ruyan was about to get up to open it, but Bai Lingyao was faster. She walked quickly to the door and opened it, her voice cold. "I'm not eating." But before she finished, she paused. "Who are you looking for?" The boy outside the door was startled by Bai Lingyao's expression. "Miss Bai, I heard you have a performance tonight." Bang! Bai Lingyao pulled a face and slammed the door shut. She turned and sat back on the sofa, radiating an intense coldness. Liu Ruyan scratched her head. "Lingyao, you don't like Shi Yi?" Bai Lingyao froze for a second. "I didn't get a good look just now." "Didn't get a good look? Then who did you think it was?" Bai Lingyao didn't answer. She was incredibly annoyed. Why hasn't Li Huawang arrived yet? In the previous life, he had already been here by now. Finally, unable to wait any longer, Bai Lingyao got up and walked out, only to see people outside already distributing the bread. Liu Ruyan brought back a piece of bread. "Have a snack to tide you over. There's not enough time to go out and eat now. We can eat after the performance." Bai Lingyao took the bread, saw that it was nut-flavored, and her face grew even darker. It wasn't until she was on stage singing that Bai Lingyao finally saw me. The boys in the audience were cheering for Bai Lingyao's appearance, but I was looking down, playing on my phone. Judging by the headphones I put on, I must have found the cheering too loud. Bai Lingyao finished her song, First Love, and the atmosphere was completely ignited. Many people rushed onto the stage with flowers. Bai Lingyao had already received several bouquets, but she didn't leave the stage immediately. She couldn't help but look in my direction. At this moment, Yang Jian from the third row returned with 2 bouquets, stuffing one into my arms. "Huawang, I'm going to give flowers to Bai Lingyao. Want to come with me?" I handed the flowers back to Yang Jian. "Are you kidding? I'd rather give flowers to a dog than Bai Lingyao." I glanced at the stage, then suddenly remembered that Liu Ruyan had helped me a lot in the past. "Actually, fine, let's go together." On stage, Bai Lingyao suddenly remembered that she hadn't accepted my flowers in the previous life. This time, she would take them. After all, she knew I genuinely liked her, and even though she didn't love me, she had some feelings for me. Bai Lingyao stood there, her eyes fixed on me as I walked up the stage with the flowers. She didn't even realize that as I reached her, she instinctively freed one hand and extended it, ready to accept my bouquet. However, I walked right past her and handed the flowers to Liu Ruyan, who was standing behind Bai Lingyao. I smiled. "That was a wonderful performance. May I give you this bouquet?" Liu Ruyan was stunned for a couple of seconds before standing up and accepting the flowers. "Of course, thank you." After giving the flowers, I turned and walked off the stage, without even sparing a glance for Bai Lingyao. Liu Ruyan met Bai Lingyao's gaze, her expression bewildered. Bai Lingyao suddenly turned her head. "What exactly is going on between you and Li Huawang?" Liu Ruyan was exasperated. "What do you mean? We're not even close." "Lingyao, could it be that he's deliberately doing all this to get your attention?" "HMPH. What is he to me? How could I possibly pay attention to him?" I returned to the Bai residence around 10 p.m. Li Fu saw me and immediately walked over. "Huawang, did you see Miss Bai at school today? She didn't have me pick her up today, and she's not back yet. It's already past 10 p.m. Her phone is off too. Mrs. Bai is looking everywhere for her." I opened my phone and tapped on the school's freshman group chat. "Tell Madam not to worry. They probably went out for karaoke." Okay, I'll go report it right away so she doesn't send someone to ask you later. In the photos from the group chat, I also saw a handsome boy sitting next to Bai Ling Yao. That was Fong Yuan. They're together after all. The next day, Mrs. Bai was furious that Bai Ling Yao hadn't returned home the previous night. Worried that Mrs. Bai would drag me in for questioning, I got up and left early. On the bus, I immediately spotted Shi Hanmo. Today, she was holding a transparent, crystal-like succulent plant. A bit concerned about running into the middle-aged man again, I quickly walked over to Shi Hanmo and greeted her with a smile. Shi Hanmo quietly shifted to make a little room, basically sheltering me inside. I was grateful for her thoughtfulness and started a conversation. "Sister Shi, what is this plant you're holding? It's beautiful." I stared at it for a long time but didn't reach out to touch it. This succulent was very similar to a gift I received after graduation in my previous life. Shi Hanmo said, "It's called Neon Light Haworthia. Do you like it?" I nodded. "I do. It's beautiful, like a crystal." Before I could finish, Shi Hanmo pushed the Haworthia towards me. "Here, take it. It's for you." I instinctively reached out and took it, a bit surprised. "Are you really giving it to me?" Shi Hanmo's expression was blank. "Don't you like it? Take it. I have a lot at home." It then occurred to me that she was an agricultural student and probably very good at growing these things. Last time, she was holding a cactus. Besides, a single succulent probably wasn't worth much. I happily accepted it. "Thank you, Sister C. I'll buy you milk tea next time." Shi Hanmo stared at me intently, then pulled out her phone. "Don't go back on your word then. Let's add each other as friends first." I took out my phone and added her. "Okay, I promise I won't go back on my word." Soon, the bus arrived at the stop. Shi Hanmo didn't just walk away this time. She paused to say goodbye to me. I was a bit surprised. After waving to Shi Hanmo, I hugged the succulent and headed to my classroom. Yang Jian rushed in just as class was starting and sat next to me, looking excited. I stayed up all night gossiping in the group chat. I heard that the little princess of the Bai family is dating the campus heartthrob from Ligong University. Of course, I knew the campus heartthrob from Ligong University was Fong Yuan. Fong Yuan was originally supposed to study abroad, but he couldn't go because of an incident with his father. He reluctantly took the college entrance exam and enrolled at Ligong University. Now that college had just started, Fong Yuan's family situation wasn't looking good, and he wanted to latch on to Bai Ling Yao, a super rich second-generation heir. Bai Ling Yao, in turn, fought with her family over Fong Yuan and refused to go abroad. The two hit it off, and they were probably at the apartment Fong Yuan rented right now. "No surprise there," I said. Yang Jian was speechless at my calm reaction. "Hoang, aren't you shocked? Bai Ling Yao is dating." "What does the young lady's business have to do with me? I'd rather take on another part-time job than gossip." Yang Jian nodded. "True. The young lady can date whoever she wants." After a while, Yang Jian spoke up again, staring at my neon light Haworthia. "Holy cow, Huawang, is this neon light Haworthia yours? You cry poor to me, but you bring a plant to class that costs 4 figures a pot." I was shocked. "Are you kidding? How can such a small succulent cost 4 figures? Yang Jian observed it carefully for a minute. "No way. It's definitely more than that. It's probably worth 5 figures. I searched online for a long time and found that the price of this succulent was indeed high. With this quality, Shi Hanmo must have put a lot of effort into raising it. I took out my phone, found Shi Hanmo's WeChat, took a picture of the Haworthia, and sent it to her. "Sister Shi, what time are you getting out of class this afternoon? I'd like to return this plant to you." Shi Hanmo replied with a question mark. "Don't you like it? I gave it to you, so why are you returning it?" "It's too expensive, and I'm also afraid I won't be able to keep it alive. I'd better return it to you." After a long while, Shi Hanmo replied, "No." Then I received a forwarded message from her. "Neon Light Haworthia Care Instructions. Just follow this. If you don't understand something, ask me." I turned off my phone, and the look in my eyes as I regarded the succulent changed. But that wasn't all. Yang Jian suddenly stared at my Haworthia and added, "Holy cow, Huang, does that flower pot look like agate to you?" I covered my heart. "Enough. Stop talking." I didn't have class in the afternoon. I treated the succulent like a precious treasure and carried it back to my room. My stepmother, Liu Lifan, who lived next door, called out to me from outside the window. Huawang, Madam is calling for you. Go talk to her. I felt a reflex of annoyance as soon as I heard Mrs. Bai. In my previous life, during the 5 years I was with Bai Lingyao, Mrs. Bai would always find trouble with me when Bai Lingyao wasn't around. My dorm application wouldn't be finalized for another week, so I still had to live here for a week. I went to Mrs. Bai and asked dutifully, "Madam, what can I do for you? I will definitely not decline if I can manage it." Lingyao skipped class again. Her counselor called me today and said she hasn't been to class for 2 days. School just started. Mrs. Bai spoke with anguish, but I felt nothing. I knew the school's counselor would never call Mrs. Bai to say Miss Bai was skipping class. Who would dare offend the little princess of the Bai family? Who would dare manage whether she attended class or not? Huawang, aren't you and Lingyao in the same school? You even have some cross-listed classes together. Could you help me keep an eye on her? Let me know if she skips class. Let's exchange contact information. I understood clearly. Mrs. Bai wasn't angry that Bai Lingyao skipped class. She was angry that she skipped class to go on a date with Fong Yuan. This happened in the past life too. Back then, I was very fond of Bai Lingyao, so I told her about it. Bai Lingyao would go to class first, and after I took a picture to show Mrs. Bai, she would leave. Later, when Mrs. Bai found out, she took her anger out on me. This time, I would not help Bai Lingyao again. Just as I was about to refuse, Liu Lifan reached out and patted my back. "It's just taking a picture of Miss Bai. That's no trouble at all." "Madam, don't worry, Huawang can definitely do it." With that, she took out her WeChat, scanned Mrs. Bai's code, and then pushed Mrs. Bai's contact card to me. I left with a somber expression, following Liu Lifan. "I'm not doing the photo thing. You agreed to it, so you go yourself." I then turned and went back to my room. I understood Mrs. Bai's intention. Because I had been eager to approach Bai Lingyao some time ago, Mrs. Bai couldn't help but pay attention. Bai Lingyao hated being supervised the most, so Mrs. Bai was having me secretly take pictures of Bai Lingyao. This would make Bai Lingyao dislike me, and also prevent her from getting closer to Fong Yuan. Around 10 p.m., Bai Lingyao finally returned. She immediately got into an argument with Mrs. Bai that lasted for almost an hour. Bai Lingyao stormed out of the villa and headed straight to the covered porch of the small building next door. The covered porch faced my room window. In the previous life, I often secretly watched Bai Lingyao from the window. Bai Lingyao stared coldly at my window, counting silently. Every time, around the count of 20, that driver's son would come out to find her, either bringing her food or an umbrella, or just simply coming out to look at her. But then, with a light sound, the window she was staring at suddenly closed. Then, the curtains were drawn. Bai Lingyao adjusted her expression, looking incredulous. She walked up to the window with a dark face and knocked a few times. I hadn't expected Bai Lingyao to knock on the window. I stood in the room for a few seconds before walking out. "Miss Bai, are you looking for me?" Bai Lingyao looked at me with a complicated expression. "Why did you close the window?" "I closed the window to protect my privacy." "It's not good if people can see into the room, is it?" Bai Lingyao's face was cold. My behavior was different from the previous life, but she thought it must be a petty trick to get her attention. "If that's the case, then keep your window closed from now on. Don't open it." I glared at her back. This temperamental young lady is so annoying. Bai Lingyao suddenly stopped and turned around. "Did my mother ask you to take pictures of me in class?" I was stunned. "How did you know?" "Don't worry, I won't take secret pictures of you. I never have, and I never will." Bai Lingyao let out a cold snort, her gaze at me becoming a little subtle. After a few seconds, she said, "You can take pictures. If she asks you to, then take them. Anyway, I won't be skipping class." She finished and turned to leave the courtyard. She remembered how, in the previous life, I was scolded for a long time by her mother for helping her evade. She didn't want me to be scolded like that this time, but I suddenly called out to stop her. "Wait a minute." Bai Lingyao paused, an expression of, I knew it, on her face. He still likes me after all. She asked arrogantly, "What is it?" Then she saw me holding up my phone, the camera pointed at her. "Miss Bai, did you just say I can take pictures of you? Could you please repeat it so I don't get scolded later?" Bai Lingyao was furious. "I said you can take pictures. Take them if you want. Is that enough?" She finished and strode away. I was satisfied, saved the video, and went to sleep peacefully. I had no idea that Bai Lingyao was so angry that she didn't sleep all night. The next day, Bai Lingyao had an early class. After getting into the car, she habitually looked to the left. I, who should have been obediently waiting, was still not in the car. The car hadn't been driving long when it passed me walking. Bai Lingyao's eyes focused on the carton of milk in my hand. I had always liked drinking milk in the morning. Every morning I would put 2 cartons of milk in warm water to soak, and then I would take them to drink in the car when I left. Bai Lingyao hadn't had that kind of milk in a long time. She stared at it for a couple of seconds and suddenly said, "Stop the car." Then she said to me through the window, "Get in." I shook my head. "Thank you, Miss Bai, but it's okay. I'll take the bus." This was the first time Bai Lingyao had actively made a gesture of goodwill, and I was not receptive to it. She snorted. "Suit yourself." The car sped away. I made it to the bus stop right on time. Shi Hanmo was on the bus as expected. I walked over to her with a pleasant surprise. "Good morning, Sister C." Shi Hanmo quickly put away her phone. If I had looked closer, I would have seen that she was scrolling through my moments. I handed her a carton of warm milk. "Here, let me treat you to some milk." Shi Hanmo and I had taken the bus together several times and had become familiar with each other. She opened her phone to show me pictures of her beautiful garden. After getting off the bus, she told me, "I'll take you to see my garden sometime. It even has a small fish pond." As they were talking, Shi Hanmo suddenly stopped. I also noticed something and looked up to see Bai Lingyao and 2 friends standing nearby, staring darkly at the milk in Shi Hanmo's hand. A friend nearby was making a snide comment. "Lingyao, isn't that your driver's son? Didn't he always used to follow you around? Now he switched to someone else?" The words "switched to someone else" stung Bai Lingyao. At that moment, she had no idea that I too had been reborn. Bai Lingyao stared at the milk in Shi Hanmo's hand, then looked at me with a cold laugh. "I was wondering why you weren't trying to bum a ride with me anymore. You've fallen for another woman and decided I'm not good enough?" My face darkened. "Miss Bai, what nonsense are you talking about? Did I say something wrong? Didn't you wait in the car for me early every day when you first arrived at the Bai family? You even delivered this milk to me before? Why did you switch who you're giving it to now?" I thought of my past self, and my expression darkened. I truly regretted ever liking Bai Lingyao. Did she take the wrong medicine today, acting like this? Bai Lingyao sized up Shi Hanmo again. "You probably don't know yet, but he is my family's chauffeur's son." I felt incredibly embarrassed. "I'm sorry, Sister Shi." Shi Hanmo reached out and ruffled my hair. "You don't need to apologize. You didn't do anything wrong." I knew Bai Lingyao had an awful personality, but I really didn't want to drag Shi Hanmo into this. "Sister Shi, hurry to class. Don't be late." Shi Hanmo frowned and asked me, "Who is she?" I paused for 2 seconds. "She's crazy." Shi Hanmo hesitated and then asked, "Is she your girlfriend?" "Of course not." Seeing my eagerness to distance myself, Bai Lingyao scoffed. "How could I possibly fall for a chauffeur's son?" Anger surged inside me. "Yes, you looked down on the chauffeur's son, so who was that ghost you were with for 5 years? Who said you had to fall for me? Are you okay? If you have a problem in the head, go get treated." In both her lives combined, this was the first time I had ever cursed at Bai Lingyao. She was stunned, standing there and glaring at me. Bai Lingyao finally shut up. Shi Hanmo also fell silent. I looked a bit ashamed. "Goodbye, Sister C's. I'm going to class and you should hurry too." I didn't wait for Shi Hanmo's response, turning and running into the school gate. I didn't dare look at Shi Hanmo, afraid of seeing surprise and contempt in her eyes. I had suffered enough of those looks in my previous life when I was with Bai Lingyao. Bai Lingyao stood there, her expression icy, staring resentfully at Shi Hanmo. Shi Hanmo's face was also upset. She held the milk, glared at my disappearing back, and then turned and left. This morning was a public class. After sitting down, I opened the chat window with Shi Hanmo. I wanted to apologize. I hesitated for a long time, typing and deleting, but ultimately didn't send a single word. Because whatever I said felt inappropriate. Just as I was about to close my phone, a message from Shi Hanmo came through. "What's wrong?" It dawned on me that I had been typing for almost 10 minutes. And the typing status was likely visible to Shi Hanmo the whole time. My face flushed with embarrassment. "Sister C, I'm very sorry about what happened earlier. I hope you won't take it to heart. I told you it wasn't your fault. You don't need to apologize." My eyes felt a little teary. Compared to Bai Lingyao, Sister Shei's personality was wonderful. Bai Lingyao spoke to her with such a tone. I didn't know if Shi Hanmo misunderstood. Would she think I'm a guy who flirts with girls everywhere? As I was thinking, someone walked past my desk and bumped it. I looked up and saw Bai Lingyao walking past me with a cold face and sitting in the back row. Bai Lingyao was actually attending class today? Is she not meeting Fong Yuan? What she said last night was actually true? I froze for a few seconds, then immediately picked up my phone, snapped a photo of Bai Lingyao who had just sat down, and quickly sent it to Mrs. Bai. She said I could take pictures to supervise her for Mrs. Bai, so I did. The less trouble, the better. As soon as Bai Lingyao sat down, Wang Xiaoqian said to her, Li Huang just took a picture of you with his phone. Bai Lingyao's expression finally softened a bit. I know, I don't care. For the next 2 days, whenever I had class with Bai Lingyao, I would casually take a photo to appease Mrs. Bai's request. Soon, the gossip that I liked Bai Lingyao and enjoyed secretly taking pictures of her spread through the university gossip groups. Yang Jian showed me the post on the gossip group. They say you like Bai Lingyao, and not only are you pursuing her, but you're also stalking her. Taking pictures of her in class after class and even running far away to other classrooms to secretly photograph her. I was speechless. No wonder people have been staring at me a lot these past 2 days. It was because of this. It's not as exaggerated as they say. Someone is deliberately trying to smear me with this. It's all a misunderstanding. The young lady keeps skipping class, so Mrs. Bai asked me to help keep an eye on her. I have to take photos of her in class every day to send to her. Yang Jian looks shocked. That kind of mother is terrifying. No wonder Miss Bai is so rebellious. Wang, are you really not gonna explain? Everyone is misunderstanding, and they're saying awful things. I shook my head because I knew that the gossip about Bai Lingyao wouldn't last long. In 2 weeks, Fong Yuan would have to go abroad quickly because of a family incident. At that point, Bai Lingyao wouldn't have the chance to skip class to see him anymore. Mrs. Bai would feel relieved, and I wouldn't have to take pictures every day. What you fear will always happen. At lunch, I coincidentally ran into Bai Lingyao again. I felt unlucky. In my past life, I had to deliberately create chance encounters to see her, but after being reborn, I kept running into her inexplicably. You've been taking pictures of me for the past 2 days. Aren't you going to report to me? Bai Lingyao paused, then stared at me meaningfully. Are my photos still saved in your album? I gave her a look of distaste. You keep skipping class, forcing Mrs. Bai to ask me to take pictures for her. Now you're attending class properly every day, and Mrs. Bai is satisfied. What is there to report? Don't worry, I didn't save any of your photos. Not a single one. Bai Lingyao's eyes flickered, as if she was slightly disappointed. You took so many, and didn't save a single one? Why would I save your photos? To ward off evil spirits? Bai Lingyao was so angry she laughed. I don't believe you. Li Huang, are you afraid to admit that you like me? I admitted that my past self did like Bai Lingyao at this time, but I was certain I didn't now. I took out my phone and opened the chat history with Mrs. Bai. If you don't believe me, you can see for yourself. Bai Lingyao snatched the phone and saw that the chat history was full of photos of her in class or leaving class. Every photo was a blurry back or profile shot. There wasn't a single clear frontal photo. Bai Lingyao's face instantly darkened. You're unbelievable. You supervise me for her and take my pictures, but you don't even photograph my face. How much do you not want to see me? I remained expressionless, because there's nothing good looking about your face either. Bai Lingyao smiled coldly and nodded. Then tell me, whose face is good looking? That Shi Hanmo? Why are you suddenly bringing up Sister Xie? Why do you call her Sister Z so intimately? I'm older than you, why don't you call me sister? What exactly is your relationship with her? I reached out to grab my phone. Whatever our relationship is, it has nothing to do with you. Bai Lingyao's face was grim. She forcefully threw my phone to the ground. Smash! The phone screen shattered. I quickly picked up the phone. Bai Lingyao, are you crazy? The phone screen is broken. You have to pay for the repairs. I will send you the bill. I hope Miss Bai doesn't try to welch on it. Saying that, I left. I didn't want to stay with Bai Lingyao for a single second. Bai Lingyao stamped her foot angrily. Damn it! She was previously smug, thinking I was secretly in love with her when she found out I was taking pictures. believing I would go back and secretly look at the photos. Now, she had only managed to infuriate herself. As I walked out, cutting through the food street back to school, I didn't know that Shi Hanmo from the neighboring school was also eating lunch on this street with her classmates today. Shi Hanmo saw me first, but didn't call out. She had spent a few hours at the agricultural college this morning, and her clothes had dirt spots on them. She didn't want to ruin her image in front of me. Also, my face didn't look very good. After my figure disappeared into the crowd, Shi Hanmo noticed that the students at her table were also staring at me. "Is that the one you were talking about? He looks like a good boy. I can't believe he's a stalker." Shi Hanmo couldn't help but speak up. "What are you talking about? What stalker?" "The popular figure at aAvoided, by Ling Yao. You've probably heard of her. They say her chauffeur's son has a crush on her, goes to the same school, and has been secretly photographing her every day." A classmate opened a post. "Look, Miss Bai was secretly photographed by an obsessive admirer just 2 weeks into school." The post clearly showed a photo of me holding my phone, taking a picture of Bai Ling Yao's back. Shi Hanmo also remembered what Bai Ling Yao had said that morning. Did he really like Bai Ling Yao? She frowned. No matter what, these posts aren't good for him. Someone should handle them. When I got back to school, I also saw the news exposing me for secretly taking pictures of Bai Ling Yao. However, the news was quickly deleted, and all related messages about me were completely wiped clean. Yang Jian was stunned. Is this the power of the Bai family? They can delete things across the entire internet. I looked at my phone uncertainly. I didn't think Bai Ling Yao would do this, but if it wasn't Bai Ling Yao, who would it be? 3 days later, just as I reached the classroom door, I saw Bai Ling Yao rushing down the stairs. It's Fong Yuan's birthday today. I need to go buy him a gift. Help me appease my mother today. I promise I'll attend class properly tomorrow. She said it as if it were my obligation to help her. I took out my phone and took a picture of Bai Ling Yao. Then I said coldly, "Okay, you can go." With that, I opened WeChat, ready to send this photo of her skipping class to Mrs. Bai. Bai Ling Yao suddenly snatched my phone. "How can you be so unreasonable? I told you it's Fong Yuan's birthday today. I'll be back at 8 p.m. "Isn't it easy for you to cover for me with my mother?" I sneered. "It's very difficult. Mrs. Bai is not easy to appease. I learned the consequences of deceiving her in my past life." Vexation flashed in Bai Ling Yao's eyes. "You say you don't like me, but there was clearly jealousy in your eyes when I mentioned celebrating Fong Yuan's birthday. Miss, self-obsession is a disease that needs treatment." Bai Ling Yao was so angry she took my phone and turned to leave. "I'll be back at 8 p.m. You can get your phone for me then. I'll explain things to my mother myself." I angrily chased after her. Bai Ling Yao quickly got into her car, stepped on the gas, and drove away. Caught between Mrs. Bai and Bai Ling Yao, I was completely controlled. I was determined to convince my father to resign and find several part-time jobs to earn money myself. Without my phone, I naturally couldn't contact Mrs. Bai, and I would have to explain everything to her later. Plus, without a phone, I couldn't ride the bus or buy anything. Today I had to ask Yang Jian to help me scan a shared bike to ride home. I figured Sister C hadn't seen me for 3 days and probably wouldn't contact me. Meanwhile, Shi Hanmo arrived at the bus stop right on time. After waiting for 10 minutes, she got on the bus I was likely to take. When it reached a familiar stop, she immediately stood up and looked towards the front door, but she didn't see me get on before the door closed. A trace of disappointment appeared in Shi Hanmo's eyes. Since the last time she and I got off the bus and ran into Bai Ling Yao, I hadn't taken the bus anymore. Was he hiding from me, or was he deliberately distancing himself from me because of Bai Ling Yao? In the middle of class, she found my WeChat and sent a message. "How is the neon light Haworthia doing lately? Remember to give it some sun, but be careful not to expose it to too much heat." After sending this serious message, she anxiously waited for a reply. However, the entire morning passed, and Shi Hanmo didn't receive a reply. She waited until the evening and still no response. After agonizing over it all day, Shi Hanmo decided to send another message. "Why aren't you replying? You haven't killed it, have you?" This time, a message quickly came back. "Don't send messages to Li Huawang anymore." Shi Hanmo's face darkened. She sent a question mark. Then, a red exclamation mark appeared. Li Huawang blocked her. No, someone else must have taken his phone and blocked her. Who was it? Bai Ling Yao? Does Li Huawang really like her? Are they together right now? Outside the school gate, after saying goodbye to Yang Jian, I rode a shared bike home alone. While waiting at the traffic light, Shi Hanmo, who was on a bus, saw me on the bike. Shi Hanmo was a bit incredulous. Was he riding a shared bike to and from school just to avoid running into her? I was cycling slowly when I suddenly heard someone calling my name from the side of the road. It was a girl's voice, cold and deep, seemingly carrying a bit of resentment. I didn't stop until a hand pressed down on my handlebars. I immediately stopped and looked up, meeting Shi Hanmo's eyes. Shi Hanmo looked at me with a complicated expression. "You've been riding a bicycle to and from school lately? How long will it take you to ride that far?" She wanted confirmation. Was I riding a bike home because I was afraid Bai Ling Yao would be angry and I didn't want to run into her on the bus? If so, she wouldn't take the bus anymore. I didn't know that I had been blocked on WeChat by someone using my phone. "Sister C, what are you doing here?" Shi Hanmo said sheepishly, "Just passing by." That's quite a coincidence. I pushed the bike and walked with Shi Hanmo. I answered honestly. Bai Ling Yao took my phone this morning when I came to school. I can't swipe my bus card without my phone, so I had to ask my classmate to help me scan a shared bike to ride back slowly. Shi Hanmo had been worrying all day, and she never expected such an answer. "You mean your phone is with Bai Ling Yao?" I nodded. "She keeps skipping class, so Mrs. Bai asked me to keep an eye on her. She got angry when she found out and snatched my phone so I couldn't contact Mrs. Bai, so that's what happened." Shi Hanmo was secretly glad. Fortunately, she decided to get off the bus and ask me directly. Small raindrops suddenly began to fall. Shi Hanmo looked up. "It's raining. Don't ride the bike. Let's find shelter from the rain first. Have you eaten dinner?" I nodded obediently. "I have." Shi Hanmo had to ask, "Then have you had milk tea?" I thought the question was a little odd. "Not today." "Then let's go. I'll treat you to milk tea." The rain was starting to fall in earnest. People on the street were running. Shi Hanmo grabbed my arm and ran. There were already many people sheltering from the rain at the entrance of the shopping mall. Shi Hanmo pulled on my sleeve and squeezed through the crowd. The atmosphere in the milk tea shop was subtle. We both quietly watched the rain outside the window. We hadn't met many times in total. I didn't know what to say, and Shi Hanmo seemed lost in thought. I, who was reborn alongside the wealthy young lady I dated for 5 years, was currently with someone else. Bai Ling Yao resolutely chose to take her unrequited love from the previous life, Fong Yuan, back to her home for the night. Yet witnessing this scene left me unmoved, because only I knew the torment I went through after spending the night with Bai Ling Yao in my past life. Tonight, while one person was wrapped up with their moonlight, another encountered a little moon of their own. I, who was pulled by Shi Hanmo into the mall to shelter from the rain, had no idea that Bai Ling Yao, who was celebrating Fong Yuan's birthday, was actually very irritable. Fong Yuan knew Bai Ling Yao had always liked him, but he had kept her hanging before. Recently, however, he suddenly felt a sense of crisis because he realized Bai Ling Yao cared more about the chauffeur's son than he thought. Taking advantage of his birthday, Fong Yuan directly confirmed their relationship with Bai Ling Yao. But Bai Ling Yao didn't look happy when she heard this. She looked at the heavy rain outside the window, her brow furrowed. She took out a phone with a shattered screen from her pocket. Fong Yuan's eyes focused on the phone in Bai Ling Yao's hand, and he immediately became tense. "Ling Yao, whose phone is this? Is it your family chauffeur's son's? Why do you have his phone?" Bai Ling Yao's mind was a mess. She pressed the phone's button and saw that the time was already 8:40 p.m. She had snatched Li Huowang's phone that morning to prevent him from alerting Mrs. Bai that she was skipping class to be with Fong Yuan. Now it was so late, and it was raining outside. She wondered how Li Huowang was doing. Bai Ling Yao felt restless. She wanted to stay with Fong Yuan, but she had to go back. Finally, she said to Fong Yuan, "Why don't you come back with me? Stay at my house tonight, and I'll drive you to school tomorrow." Fong Yuan was stunned. He had only been to the Bai family's old estate when he was a child, and hadn't been back since he grew up. It seemed Bai Ling Yao truly wanted to confirm their relationship this time. When they returned, it was already 9:30 p.m. The first thing Bai Ling Yao said to the butler was, "Tell Li Huowang to come see me." "Miss, Li Huowang is not back yet." "He's not back?" Bai Ling Yao was instantly annoyed. She had rushed back from the hotel with Fong Yuan because she had taken my phone and promised to be back by 8 p.m., but I hadn't returned myself. The butler quickly explained, "Miss, It's late and raining heavily. Huang probably didn't have an umbrella. I'll call and ask him where he is and have driver Li pick him up. Just as the butler made the call, my phone in Bai Lingyao's pocket started ringing. She irritably turned off the phone. Don't bother with him. If he doesn't have an umbrella, can't he just buy one? As she said that, she remembered that I couldn't buy an umbrella without a phone. Forget it, I'll go to the school to pick him up. The butler quickly stopped her. Miss, please don't go. Madam has been waiting for you. Mrs. Bai had been angry all day because she couldn't reach Bai Lingyao or me. Now that she saw Bai Lingyao had returned with Fong Yuan, she was even more upset. The butler then looked at Fong Yuan. Mr. Fang, I have arranged a guest room for you. Why don't you go back and rest? Fong Yuan looked at Bai Lingyao, sounding a little wronged. Lingyao, can I go to your room? The butler thought it was inappropriate. Mrs. Bai was already fuming. Wouldn't this just add fuel to the fire? Bai Lingyao, however, ignored the old butler's look and said apologetically, I can't accompany you right now. Yuan, go to my room and rest first. I need to go see my mother. Meanwhile, I was sitting in the cafe with Shi Hanmo. Shi Hanmo brought up the rain. The rain isn't going to stop that quickly. Instead of sitting here waiting, why don't we go upstairs and watch a movie? I felt that we weren't close enough to watch a movie together. Sister C, you don't actually have to stay with me. I can just wait here until the rain stops. Did you forget what happened when you ran into that bad person on the bus last time? It's getting late, and you're alone without a phone. How unsafe is that? Are you planning to ride your bike back in this weather? Shi Hanmo stared at me seriously, with a hint of sternness in her eyes. Confronted by her gaze, I subconsciously shook my head. Shi Hanmo stood up immediately. Come on, let's go watch a movie. How about that animated film that's popular right now? I still felt strange, but before I could speak, Shi Hanmo looked down at her phone. It starts in 20 minutes. We can still buy tickets. Do you want popcorn? No, I don't think so. My thoughts couldn't keep up with Shi Hanmo's speed. One moment she was asking if I wanted to watch, and the next, she had already bought the tickets. All right, no popcorn then. Let's go upstairs first. I followed obediently behind Shi Hanmo, wanting to say something but stopping myself. Shi Hanmo looked at me like this, and her heart fluttered. She admitted she was a bit aggressive. I was her type, and the first time she saw me on the bus, she was instantly attracted. She had planned to pursue me gradually, but plans couldn't keep up with sudden changes. Now, she just wanted to speed things up. The movie ended around 11 p.m. The rain outside had lessened considerably. Shi Hanmo apologized. I dragged you along to watch a movie, and now it's so late. Won't your family worry? I shook my head. I used your phone to call my dad. He won't worry. The movie was great. It made me briefly forget about the Bai family's affairs. But now, I still have to go back and face Mrs. Bai's anger. Shi Hanmo took out her phone. Tell me the Bai residence address. I'll call a taxi to take you back. I returned to the Bai family's old estate around 11:30 p.m., getting out of the taxi. I thanked Shi Hanmo in the car and said goodbye. I felt guilty, thinking how truly kind Sister Xie was. I watched the car drive away before turning towards the Bai house. Just as I walked through the main gate, I was startled by a dark figure standing by the door. With slight tension, I turned to see Bai Lingyao standing there, her face grim, staring at me. Miss Bai, what are you doing standing here? Bai Lingyao's voice was cold and hollow. Didn't I say I'd be back by 8 p.m.? Why are you so late? I felt Bai Lingyao's attitude towards me had been odd lately. Miss Bai, this is my private matter. I don't need to report it to you. Can I have my phone back now? The look of slight annoyance in my eyes hurt Bai Lingyao. She took out the phone but didn't immediately hand it back. Instead, she stared at me and asked with a stern face, Whose hat are you wearing? I paused, then realized I was still wearing Shi Hanmo's cap. Oh. It rained tonight, and I couldn't buy an umbrella without a phone, so a kind senior lent me her hat. As I spoke, I stepped forward and took the phone back from Bai Lingyao's hand. Bai Lingyao thought of the girl I was with on the bus earlier. Is she really just a kind senior? Lending a cap worth several thousand yuan so casually. She must be very kind indeed. I stopped in my tracks. Wait, a cap is several thousand yuan? Bai Lingyao smiled mockingly. I was wondering why you weren't bumming rides with me anymore. Turns out, you found a better target to butter up. Think whatever you want. If insulting me makes you feel better, then I'll count it as a good deed for the day. Bai Lingniao's mood worsened. My personality used to be so soft. When did it change like this? She had already argued with Mrs. Bai earlier after bringing Fong Yuan home. She had stormed out of the house, and when I still hadn't returned, she was so worried that she didn't even care about Fong Yuan resting in her room, choosing instead to wait by the villa door. She never expected this outcome. As I walked further in, I saw Fong Yuan standing at the entrance to the Bai family garden, looking as if he was waiting for someone. Fong Yuan quickly jogged towards Bai Lingniao. "Lingniao, I heard you arguing with your mom, and I heard her say she wanted to kick me out. I was a bit scared being alone since you hadn't returned. How about you send me back tonight? I won't stay here. Your mom seems very unhappy." I watched with cold eyes. Bai Lingniao actually brought Fong Yuan back. Is Mrs. Bai going to have a heart attack today? Bai Lingniao hugged Fong Yuan and comforted him. "Yuan, you don't need to leave. I brought you back. How can my mom kick you out? Come back inside with me. If my mom says anything more to you, I'll go to Grandpa." Fong Yuan only calmed down after receiving Bai Lingniao's promise. I looked at the love-struck Bai Lingniao, wondering if her brain was waterlogged. I turned and went back to my room. When I took out my phone to find Shi Hanmo's WeChat, I couldn't find it. Just then, I received a friend verification request. It was Shi Hanmo applying to add me again. I frowned. When did I delete Shi Hanmo? Could Bai Lingniao have done it? I clicked to accept the verification and sent a message. "Sister Xie, are you home yet?" Shi Hanmo replied quickly. "You finally got your phone back." "I'm home. Thank you for your concern." I remarried, hesitated for a long time, then decided to transfer 200 yen to Shi Hanmo. "Thank you so much, Sister Xie. This is for the movie ticket and the taxi fare. I hope you can accept it." Shi Hanmo didn't accept the transfer. "No need to pay me back. I hope you can treat me to a movie or dinner next time. Is that okay?" "Yes, Sister Xie. I'll treat you to dinner tomorrow." Shi Hanmo got the satisfactory answer and secretly smiled. "Good. It's a deal." The next day, the Bai family drama was about to unfold. Mrs. Bai woke up early and called for the butler. "What happened last night? Did Fong Yuan leave? Did they spend the night together?" The butler could only nod helplessly. "Miss didn't allow us to send Mr. Fang away." Mrs. Bai's face was livid. "It's fine if Lingniao dates, but she can't get pregnant. Fong Yuan's father is about to go to jail. Marrying into their family would be an embarrassment. My grandson cannot have a grandfather who has been imprisoned." Mrs. Bai pondered for a while, then suddenly looked up. "Go find the family doctor and get some birth control pills." As I left my room, I inadvertently overheard a few maids whispering, "Madam seems to be in a good mood today. I thought she would be angry when Mr. Fang came down from upstairs. I can't believe they are eating breakfast together." A complicated feeling flashed in my eyes. In my past life, Bai Lingniao didn't bring Fong Yuan back, and they didn't confirm their relationship until after she went abroad. Not long after, Bai Lingniao and I started dating. The first time I returned to the Bai family's old estate after we started dating, Mrs. Bai was also very polite to me and asked me to stay and eat. At the time, I thought Mrs. Bai had genuinely accepted me, but Mrs. Bai put an overdose of sperm-inhibiting birth control pills in the soup I drank. Shortly after finishing the soup, I felt immense stomach pain and threw up several times in the bathroom. This resulted in internal damage, and I subsequently lost my fertility. When Bai Lingniao found out the truth, she only said she couldn't fight her mother and lightly brushed the matter aside. This time, the person being medicated was Fong Yuan. I wondered what Bai Lingniao would do. I collected my thoughts and prepared to leave, but the hurried butler blocked me. "Wang, Madam wants to talk to you. Come with me first." I followed the butler to the front hall. Mrs. Bai was having breakfast with Fong Yuan and Bai Lingniao. Mrs. Bai's expression towards Fong Yuan was gentle. "I didn't have an objection to you before, but Lingniao is still too young." I was worried she would neglect her studies because of dating. Mrs. Bai's change in attitude was astonishing. Fong Yuan said, "Auntie, I understand. I will make sure Lingniao studies hard." In truth, although they slept in the same bed last night, Bai Lingniao hadn't let Fong Yuan touch her. At this point, Mrs. Bai pushed a bowl of bird's nest congee towards Fong Yuan, her eyes full of affection. "Drink this bowl of congee to nourish yourself. You are too thin." Fong Yuan smiled, took the bowl, and began to drink the congee obediently. Bai Lingyao, standing nearby, frowned. Fong Yuan was right beside her, and her mother had accepted him, yet she didn't understand why she was still feeling anxious. It was then that I walked in. Seeing my figure, Bai Lingyao immediately sat up a little straighter. I ignored her and politely asked Mrs. Bai, "Madam, did you need to see me?" Mrs. Bai smiled. "I heard about what happened yesterday. Lingyao snatched your phone so you wouldn't take pictures to supervise her, is that right?" I calmly nodded. Bai Lingyao frowned unhappily. "Are you going to make him keep watching me?" Mrs. Bai shook her head. "Of course not. I just wanted to say you shouldn't bully Huawang like that. Why snatch someone's phone? How inconvenient that must be." As she spoke, Mrs. Bai took out a new phone. "I saw your screen was cracked. I bought you a new one. This is also to thank you for helping me keep an eye on Lingyao a few days ago. From today on, you don't need to watch her. Fong Yuan will help me keep an eye on her." Fong Yuan, who had finished the bird's nest kanji, gave a sweet smile. "Don't worry, Auntie. I will definitely urge her to study hard." I sneered inwardly but said politely, "Thank you, madam. I'll go to school now." Bai Lingyao immediately stood up, looking eager. "It's getting late. I need to go to school too." Fong Yuan also stood up, but the next moment he clutched his stomach, his face instantly turning pale. "Lingyao, my stomach hurts so much." "Don't panic. I'll take you to the hospital right now. Driver, quickly take us to the hospital." The driver looked into the rearview mirror and saw Fong Yuan wasn't well. He couldn't help but ask, "Mr. Fong, did you eat something bad?" As soon as he finished speaking, Fong Yuan stammered in panic. "No, I only had a bowl of bird's nest kanji today." He then looked at Bai Lingyao with a shocked expression. Bai Lingyao's face was grim because she finally recalled a past event. She remembered one time when she brought me back to the Bai house, and after dinner with her mother, I also suffered from extreme stomach pain. It took 3 days of various tests to confirm that I had consumed an overdose of birth control pills. Bai Lingyao and I had a huge fight over it. She thought I had taken the pills myself. At the time, I suspected Mrs. Bai, but Bai Lingyao didn't believe it. Now, seeing Fong Yuan's symptoms, they were exactly the same as mine from her memory. Fong Yuan weakly said, "Lingyao, could there be something wrong with the bowl of bird's nest kanji 1-8? Bai Lingyao suddenly yelled, "Stop the car! Driver, take Yuan to the hospital first. I'll be right there." She strode back into the Bai family's old estate. At that moment, Mrs. Bai was instructing a maid to clean up the dishes. Bai Lingyao stared at the maid with a cold face. "Wait! Leave the bowl Fong Yuan used." Mrs. Bai looked at Bai Lingyao in surprise. Bai Lingyao was terrifyingly grim. "Tell me, did you put birth control pills in the bird's nest in Fong Yuan's bowl?" "Lingyao, you are hopelessly love-struck. Fong Yuan's stomach hurts, and you suspect I poisoned him? I am your mother. How can you question me like this?" Yes. In the previous life, Mrs. Bai had used these exact words to dismiss Bai Lingyao. At the time, Bai Lingyao chose to side with Mrs. Bai. But now, intense remorse and guilt overwhelmed her reason. She and I were together for 5 years without her getting pregnant. Mrs. Bai had said she didn't mind my background and agreed to our marriage, but only if we had a child. Bai Lingyao's chest heaved with rage. "You are my mother. You wouldn't do these things. You agreed today that I could be with Fong Yuan, and you would agree to us getting married in the future, but only if we have our own children, right?" Mrs. Bai froze. How did Bai Lingyao know her plan? Bai Lingyao looked at her mother's expression and roared in anguish. "Are you even human? How can you be so vicious?" I had anticipated the Bai family's farce, but I wasn't interested. This life had nothing to do with the Bai family's affairs. As soon as I got on the bus, I subconsciously looked for Shi Hanmo. Sure enough, Shi Hanmo was standing in the waiting area, looking my way. I squeezed over. "Good morning, Sister Shi." Shi Hanmo's eyes held a smile. "Good morning. I brought your hat back. I washed it yesterday, but it hasn't dried yet. I'll return it to you tomorrow when it's dry." Shi Hanmo looked at me and smiled. "Okay." Then she suddenly asked, "Huawang, do you have class this afternoon?" I shook my head. "No, but I have a part-time job at a restaurant this afternoon." "Which restaurant do you work at?" "A restaurant called Jian Yin Huo Huo, Human World Smoke and Fire. You must have heard of it." Shi Hanmo paused. She had more than just heard of it. That restaurant was owned by her mother. When Shi Hanmo and I got off the bus, she asked again, "Are you going to work at Jianyan Huohuo every evening from now on?" I nodded. Yes. The requirement there is from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Shi Hanmo nodded, not saying anything else. We separated and went to our respective schools. Bai Lingyao didn't come to school all day. I guessed she wouldn't be coming to school for the next few days either. Fong Yuan would have to be hospitalized for at least 3 days, and then he would probably follow his mother abroad. In the previous life, Bai Lingyao deeply resented Fong Yuan's sudden departure, thinking about him for many years. Now she finally had a chance to say a proper goodbye to him. After class, Yang Jian was still gossiping with me. I heard on the gossip group that Fong Yuan from Ligong University and Bai Lingyao confirmed their relationship. Someone saw them at the hospital owned by the Bai family. They say. Yang Jian lowered his voice even further, leaning into my ear to whisper. They say that Fong Yuan had an allergic reaction from taking birth control pills and was hospitalized on an IV drip. Yang Jian sighed with emotion. I can't believe it. These rich kids play rough. I was astonished. Your gossip group knows even this? They even know Fong Yuan took birth control pills? Doesn't the Bai family's hospital maintain secrecy? Yang Jian said mysteriously. Wang, you don't know the half of it. Although that hospital belongs to the Bai family, it has other shareholders, right? Plus, there are so many people who like Miss Bai. They're jealous of Fong Yuan and want to dig up his information. There's strength in numbers. What can't they dig up? Yang Jian's explanation made sense to me. In my past life, when I was hospitalized, news about me was all over the place. Chauffeur's son is a gold digger, seducing Miss Bai, and even more ridiculous things later on, like my college entrance exam scores being fake, or me taking someone else's identity to enroll. I shook my head and sighed, telling Yang Jian, don't get involved in these things. Just listen and forget. The Bai family is not someone we can casually discuss. Yang Jian nodded while looking at his phone. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Bai Lingyao didn't come to school, and she didn't even go home. I enjoyed 2 more days of peace. However, I soon saw Bai Lingyao again. This time, it was at the Jianyan Huohuo restaurant where I worked part-time. I was wearing a black waiter's uniform and an apron, clearing plates and cutlery. Bai Lingyao came to the restaurant's private room with Liu Ruwen and Wang Xing. On the way to the room, Bai Lingyao casually glanced over and saw me carrying a tray of dishes. Liu Ruyan said in surprise, Lingyao, Li Wang is working here part-time. Is he really that short on money? Wang Xing nudged Liu Ruyan. Why are you talking so much? Hurry up! Liu Ruyan glanced at Bai Lingyao, realizing Bai Lingyao was displeased and said no more. Bai Lingyao had been having a terrible few days. Fong Yuan had been on an IV drip in the hospital for 2 days. The doctor said the medication caused significant damage to his body and that he would need long-term conditioning and care, and that he would definitely lose fertility in the short term. The short term, the doctor mentioned, actually meant a year or 2. But Bai Lingyao knew that I, in the past life, couldn't get her pregnant for a full 5 years. If the same thing happened to Fong Yuan, he would eventually figure out the truth. How would she explain it then? Fong Yuan was discharged today and was recuperating at his family's home. Bai Lingyao hid the fact that Mrs. Bai poisoned him. She didn't know how to explain things to Fong Yuan, nor how to face his drawn expression. More importantly, she suddenly really wanted to see me, looking at me in the distance, carrying dishes and meekly explaining dishes to a customer. A surge of anger suddenly rushed through Bai Lingyao. She looked grim, left Liu Ruyan and Wang Xing, and strode towards me. I was dealing with a difficult middle-aged customer today. Instead of ordering properly, the woman kept asking me, "Are you new here? I haven't seen you before. Are you a student from a nearby university?" I smiled and nodded. "Yes, ma'am. So what would you like to order?" The woman smiled broadly. "Working at a restaurant at such a young age. Are you very short on money? Do you have a large student loan? Can you pay it back yourself?" I struggled to maintain my smile. I restrained myself and spoke. "You don't need to worry about those things, ma'am. Could you please look at what you'd like to eat? I'll come back to take your order later." Saying this, I turned to leave, but the customer suddenly said, "Hey, I didn't say I wasn't gonna order! What kind of service is this?" I had been working here for 2 days, and this was the first time I'd encountered such a difficult customer. I was about to go get the manager when I saw Bai Lingyao walking over with a cold face. She suddenly kicked the woman's table, flipping the wooden dining table over. I stumbled back 2 steps, staring at Bai Lingyao in shock. "Ma'am, what are you doing?" I hurried over, trying to push Bai Lingyao away, but Bai Lingyao shielded me instead, staring grimly at the middle-aged woman. "If you're going to eat, eat properly. If not, get lost." The middle-aged woman suddenly stood up, pointing at Bai Lingyao. "What business is it of yours where I eat? How dare you kick my table over? Do you know who I am?" The woman had 2 companions with her, and all 3 aggressively walked up to Bai Lingyao. Bai Lingyao had been miserable these past few days, and this time she didn't want to hold back. Without a word, she punched the woman hard in the face. I was stunned. The brawl immediately began. Liu Ruyan and Wang Xing saw it. Liu Ruyan cursed under her breath and immediately rushed over to help. Wang Xing followed close behind. The scene became even more chaotic. I quickly contacted the shift supervisor, who rushed over with 4 or 5 security guards. After a tremendous effort, they finally managed to separate them. The middle-aged woman was left bruised and swollen, because Bai Lingyao only targeted her the entire time. The woman's clothes were wrinkled and messy. The woman hysterically screamed, "Call the police! I'm calling the police!" The incident caused an uproar. People in the restaurant turned their heads, whispering and buzzing with discussion. The restaurant manager, hearing the news, rushed out of his office, his heart pounding. He immediately spotted Bai Lingyao standing in the center of the crowd, and his heart skipped a beat. The manager quickly walked up to Bai Lingyao, his face full of surprise. "Miss Bai, why did you come over suddenly today? You didn't give me any notice." His tone revealed a hint of relief mixed with fear. After all, a wealthy young lady like Bai Lingyao had a specially reserved private room at the restaurant. As a high-level member, Bai Lingyao was always a top priority for the manager. He definitely didn't want to offend this VIP because of this accident. However, when the manager's gaze fell on Bai Lingyao, his face instantly turned pale, and cold sweat broke out. Bai Lingyao's mouth was bruised, and her hair and clothes were somewhat disheveled. She had clearly just been in a fierce fight. Who is so reckless that they dare to hit the Bai family's young miss? The manager's heart rate accelerated suddenly. He stammered, What exactly happened here?" His voice was filled with panic and worry. He knew very well that Bai Lingyao was Mrs. Bai's favorite. If Mrs. Bai found out that her beloved daughter got into a fight here and had a bruised mouth, the consequences would be unimaginable. Mrs. Bai would surely fly into a rage, and might even come to the restaurant herself to demand an explanation. The middle-aged woman continued to yell viciously, "You're the restaurant manager. You're here just in time. I was having a peaceful meal at your restaurant, and what happens? Your waiter ignored me, and his friend actually started punching and kicking me. I'm calling the police. I'm suing your restaurant." The restaurant manager frowned, turning to look at me standing nearby. I was about to explain, but Bai Lingyao blocked me, her eyes dark, staring at the middle-aged woman. "What does this have to do with the waiter? I hit you because you are an eyesore. You want to sue me? Go ahead and try." Liu Ruyan frowned. She immediately took out her phone. All right. I'll call my lawyer to deal with them right now. We're hungry. We need to eat." The restaurant manager knew very well that these young ladies were not to be trifled with. He quickly made a decision, instructing the security guards to escort the 3 people to the back office of the restaurant. Then he turned to me and said in a slightly stern tone, "Come here for a moment. Listen carefully. You must take good care of Miss Bai. There can't be any mistakes, understood?" I quickly nodded and replied, "I understand." Seeing this, the manager was slightly relieved. He quickly turned and followed the 3 women who had been beaten into the office. He knew this matter could absolutely not be allowed to escalate, otherwise it would not only affect the restaurant's reputation, but also potentially bring unnecessary trouble upon himself. More importantly, he dared not easily offend a prominent family like the Bais. Therefore, the best solution now was to start with the 3 beaten customers, negotiate compensation with them, and try to settle the matter as quickly as possible. Losing a bit of money was much better than offending the Bai family. Jianyan Huohuo was a membership-only restaurant. Because the confidentiality was well maintained, many wealthy people and celebrities liked to dine here. Renting the private meeting rooms here cost 5 figures per day, Many people sought to do business with celebrities and network with the wealthy, so they frequented this establishment. If people found out that their members were being beaten in the restaurant, the impact on the restaurant's reputation would be immense. The shift supervisor followed Manager Wang and quietly asked, "Manager, what should we do with the new intern?" Manager Wang was extremely annoyed. Although it was the customer's fault, the new intern had caused trouble on his first day of work. He said impatiently, "Forget it. Settle his wages and tell him not to come back." The shift supervisor nodded. "Okay, manager, I'll take care of it now." The shift supervisor went out to look for me but couldn't find me. He asked around and learned that I knew Bai Lingyao and had been called into her private room. He then walked to the door of Bai Lingyao's private room and saw the door closed. Bai Lingyao's voice came from inside. "So what if I hit him?" "Li Huoweng, don't you dare criticize me. I was helping you. Are you hoping he'll help you pay back your loan?" "Huh, so he's that kind of person?" I looked at her, speechless, but still spoke calmly. "Miss Bai, I'm not blaming you. It's just that today's incident is quite big. Mrs. Bai might ask me about it when I get back." The moment I mentioned Mrs. Bai, Bai Lingyao suddenly slammed the table with a bang. Liu Ruyan frowned. "Lingyao, calm down," Bai Lingyao sneered. She stared at me and asked, "Li Huang, are you so obedient to my mother, you do whatever she tells you?" Bai Lingyao was furious looking at me, so meek and compliant. Too bad I wasn't reborn. She wondered, if I had known that Mrs. Bai gave me an overdose of birth control pills in my previous life, making me lose my fertility, I probably wouldn't listen to her now, right? I said calmly, "I'm not following Mrs. Bai's orders. I'm just very annoyed, precisely because I don't want Mrs. Bai to look for me. I wish you wouldn't cause trouble in front of me. Bai Lingyao, I don't want to know anything you do. The further away you stay from me, the better." Bai Lingyao glared at me, her eyes red. "Those are just angry words. I don't believe you." I always liked to manage her, preventing her from staying up late, drinking, or clashing with her mother. I also cared for her deeply. When she was sick and hospitalized, I took care of her day and night. My heart was with her, and I cared about her very much. Bai Lingyao sat there, staring intently at me, deliberately saying those things to provoke me, wasn't he, Li Huowang? I said expressionlessly, "So what do you think? Miss Bai, I'm still on the clock. I'll go out and get busy now." With that, I opened the door and walked out, meeting the eyes of the shift supervisor standing in the hallway. The shift supervisor looked a little awkward. "Huowang, you know Miss Bai?" I nodded apologetically. "She's my classmate." The shift supervisor felt that our relationship seemed more complicated than just classmates, but he didn't ask further. He looked troubled. "Huowang, today's incident was quite serious. It's had a very bad impact on the restaurant. Our boss doesn't know about it yet, but he'll definitely hold us accountable. This isn't your fault as an intern, but you probably won't be able to work here anymore after this." The shift supervisor spoke euphemistically, but I understood. I had only been working for 2 days before being fired. It was unexpected, but also reasonable. This was the first part-time job I found, and I hadn't expected this result. I felt a little defeated, but I quickly cheered up and apologized to the shift supervisor. "I'm so sorry, supervisor. You hired me, and I ended up causing trouble for you." The shift supervisor quickly waved his hand. "It's nothing, nothing. You don't need to apologize. We all know this isn't your fault, but we can't help it. The members here are all influential. In the service industry, we just have to endure some grievances. Some service industries even have a grievance award for employees, which shows how much abuse service staff typically endure." Inside the private room, the lights were dim and faint, as if reflecting the oppressive atmosphere. Bai Lingyao's face was cold and severe, like an imminent avalanche. She had just been in a fierce fight. Her knuckles, where she had clenched her fists tightly, had split open from overuse, and red blood slowly seeped out, looking shocking. A bruise also surfaced on the corner of her mouth. A mark left by an accidental hard punch, now slightly swollen and looking a little distorted. A waiter rushed over with ice, carefully handing it to her, signaling her to apply it to her face to reduce the swelling. Liu Ruyan and Wang Xing stood nearby, their hands and necks covered in scratches, marks left by the chaos. They were slightly better off than Bai Lingyao, as Bai Lingyao's injuries were on her face, making them especially noticeable. Their faces were unharmed, and aside from the scratches on their bodies, no one would know they had just been in a fierce fight. Bai Lingyao casually tossed the ice onto the table. The ice hitting the tabletop made a crisp sound, which was particularly noticeable in the quiet private room. Her face became increasingly sullen. She spoke coldly. She clearly saw that I got into a fight for her and got injured like this, yet she didn't even send me medicine. Her tone was full of resentment and disappointment. Even the ice had been brought by other waiters. I never appeared. Bai Lingyao's heart felt heavy, as if a large stone was blocking it. Her thoughts drifted involuntarily back to this time in her previous life. How attached I was to her then. One time when she was injured, my eyes turned red with worry, tears welling up, and I eventually cried. I not only rushed out to buy medicine, but also carefully applied it for her when I returned, my movements gentle, afraid of hurting her in the slightest. Even when her mother scolded her harshly, I would silently wait obediently by the door, and when she came out, I would gently comfort her and give her warmth. At that time, I hadn't started my part-time job yet. Life was simple and pure, and she was the only one in my eyes and heart. Bai Lingyao's heart suddenly pounded. Too many things had changed in this life. Everything was different from the previous one. Could Li Huowang also have been reborn, just like her? The moment this thought appeared, she dismissed it herself. No, impossible. Bai Lingyao instinctively thought if I had really been reborn, given my disgust for my mother, there's no way I would still be willing to live in the Bai house, much less willingly follow her orders. Just then, Liu Ruyan looked at Bai Lingyao, frowned slightly, and whispered, "Lingyao, you are really impulsive today. Did you know this restaurant is owned by the Shi family? If you cause trouble here and they report it to your father, it could be a huge problem." Her voice carried a mix of worry and reproach. Bai Lingyao's expression froze instantly, and surprise flashed in her eyes. She couldn't help but ask, "This restaurant is owned by the Shi family?" Shi Hanmo's figure subconsciously appeared in her mind. Which Shi family? Could it be the Shi family that Shi Hanmo belongs to? Liu Ruyan nodded. She knew the catering companies in Haicheng well, as her family had been in the restaurant chain business for generations. She leaned forward slightly, lowering her voice. The Shi family's main business is in artificial intelligence and new energy. They are very famous in those fields. But a few years ago, they suddenly entered the grain and catering industry. I heard it was because the youngest one in their family liked it. This restaurant is one of their major investments. I don't know if it has anything to do with Shi Hanmo, since he also has the surname Xie. Coincidences happen in this world. Wang Xing frowned nearby and said hesitantly, "No way. The Shi family has such a huge business empire, involved in so many fields, a large family with extensive holdings. Would they let their child study agriculture? I heard that Shi Hanmo might be a peanut farmer. That's too much of a leap." In her view, most wealthy heirs dedicated themselves to the family's core business. Studying agriculture was simply unimaginable. Liu Ruyan rubbed her chin, a look of contemplation in her eyes. "I'm not sure. My family has never interacted with the Xie family. The Xie family isn't originally from Haicheng. They are from Beicheng, and their main influence is concentrated there. As natives of Haicheng, Bai Lingyao and her peers hadn't really had any contact with the Xie family's younger generation. However, they all felt it was likely not Shi Hanmo. After all, what top-tier wealthy family would let their daughter study farming? It was unheard of and too incredible. After hearing this, Bai Lingyao suddenly stood up. She said in a deep voice, "I'm going out to look." With that, she strode towards the private room door, her steps a little hurried. After Bai Lingyao left, a brief silence fell over the room. Wang Xing looked at Liu Ruyan, scratching her head, and whispered, "Ruyan, don't you think Lingyao's attitude towards Li Huowang is strange?" Her eyes held a hint of inquiry. Liu Ruyan's expression immediately became unpleasant. Her voice carried a touch of dissatisfaction. "He keeps vacillating between Li Huowang and Fong Yuan. He cares about both and can't let go of either. If he keeps this up, he'll only end up losing both of them and regretting it later." As she spoke, a complex emotion flashed in her eyes. She was very disappointed with Bai Lingyao's behavior. Wang Xing looked at Liu Ruyan, vaguely sensing that Liu Ruyan was dissatisfied with Bai Lingyao, but she didn't say anything more. She just sighed silently to herself. On the other side, I changed my clothes in the staff changing room. Neatly folding my uniform and putting it into the locker, I packed my belongings and prepared to leave. Just then, I picked up my phone and instantly frowned. The screen showed several messages from Bai Lingniao's other WeChat account. Li Huawang, where did you run off to? Are you still in contact with Shi Hanmo? Did she help you find this part-time job? Li Huawang, don't take the bus anymore. I'll have Uncle Li drive you to and from school. I looked at these messages, confused and speechless. In the previous life, Bai Lingniao always disdained me, even speaking harshly, saying that me riding the bus to school with her was an attempt to get her attention. Now, I wasn't doing it, and she still wasn't satisfied? And why did Bai Lingniao suddenly mention Shi Hanmo again? What did this have to do with Sister Zia? I shook my head helplessly, ignoring Bai Lingniao's messages, and left the restaurant. Bai Lingniao frantically searched the restaurant, her eyes anxious, but she couldn't find me anywhere. A thought suddenly crossed her mind. Did Shi Hanmo take her away? After all, this place was very likely the restaurant owned by Shi Hanmo's family. The moment she considered this possibility, her heart felt tightly gripped by an invisible hand, and her irritation intensified. She was restless and couldn't calm down. The food in front of her seemed to have lost its color and taste, making it hard to swallow. The private room which she had been sitting in now felt like a suffocating cage. She couldn't sit still any longer. She immediately took her two childhood friends, Liu Ruyan and Wang Xing, and sat down at an outer table. Only her two friends, who had grown up with her, indulged her. Anyone else would probably be unable to tolerate her current erratic and moody behavior. Wang Xing looked at Bai Lingniao's distraught appearance, feeling a little sorry for her. After calling a waiter to place their order, she asked about me on Bai Lingniao's behalf. Is that new intern from the university still here? He's our classmate. Did he get off work? Actually, she didn't need to specifically ask. Everyone in the restaurant was well aware of our relationship, especially since they had just been involved in a public brawl with other customers over the intern. The waiter heard their question, leaned in slightly and whispered, "He seems to have left. Because of the incident just now, our manager fired him." His voice carried a hint of sympathy. Wang Xing was momentarily stunned by this news. She instinctively glanced at Bai Lingniao, her eyes wide with surprise, and couldn't help but say, "What? He was fired?" Her voice rose slightly out of shock. The waiter nodded softly, confirming the news. Liu Ruyan frowned tightly upon hearing this and looked at Bai Lingniao, her eyes full of reproach. "Lingniao, you really went too far this time." She knew that I had just started this part-time job, hoping to gain experience and supplement my living expenses. Now, because of Bai Lingniao's impulsive actions, I had been fired. I must be very sad. Bai Lingniao's face instantly changed, and a wave of guilt washed over her. But she quickly spoke stubbornly. "Fired is fired. It's a complicated environment there anyway. It's not suitable for him." Even so, her eyes betrayed a hint of unease. She couldn't help but start speculating. Why did she have to get a part-time job? Was the salary the Bai family paid Li Wong's father too low? Did Father Li not give her enough living expenses, forcing her to find a part-time job? Although Bai Lingniao was putting on a brave face, her heart was far from calm. She felt uneasy sitting there. A moment later, she couldn't sit still anymore. She immediately stood up and strode towards the restaurant exit, preparing to leave the restaurant to find me. Just as she reached the door, Liu Ruyan quickly stepped forward and blocked Bai Lingniao. Liu Ruyan looked at Bai Lingniao and said seriously, "Lingniao, I suggest you don't go look for Li Huawang. Didn't Fong Yuan just get discharged from the hospital? You should go see him." In Liu Ruyan's view, Bai Lingniao's indecision between me and Fong Yuan was not only hurting both men, but also plunging her into confusion. Bai Lingniao's face instantly darkened. She said gloomily, "Why are you blocking me too? Are you stopping me from finding him?" Then she snapped, "Liu Ruyan, did Li Huawang give you flowers at the freshman gala too? Did you fall for him as well?" Her tone carried anger and accusation, as if she was already certain Liu Ruyan had other motives. Liu Ruyan frowned, her face turning very dark. She looked at Bai Lingniao and said with a heavier tone, "Lingniao, listen to what you're saying. You are too impulsive. Calm down." Liu Ruyan noticed that whenever the subject of Liu Wang came up, Bai Lingyao seemed to become a different person, utterly impulsive and completely losing her usual rationality. Moreover, Bai Lingyao's personality was inherently cold and self-centered. She rarely considered things from others, perspectives, which easily caused annoyance and harm to those around her. Yet she herself was completely oblivious, acting solely according to her own will. Bai Lingyao sneered, her eyes full of disdain. "Don't bother me. I know what I'm doing." With that, she forcefully shook off Liu Ruyan's hand, walked directly to her car, opened the door, started the engine, and drove away. Wang Xing watched the scene, her expression conflicted. She said to Liu Ruyan, "Ruyan, why did you argue with Ling Niao? She's always been like this. The more you talk, the less she listens." She paused, then asked with confusion, "You never used to get involved in these things before. Why are you being nosy today?" Liu Ruyan remained silent for a long time. "I just couldn't stand it. All he does is cause more trouble for others." The other she referred to, without needing to say it, Wang Xing knew was me, Liu Huowang. Hearing this, Wang Xing couldn't help but look at Liu Huoyan closely. She felt that Liu Ruyan's behavior today was abnormal. The one who was usually the quietest and always acted as an observer was now getting involved in other people's business. I hadn't been out of the restaurant for long, my heart filled with annoyance, and I walked straight towards the bus stop. Standing under the bus platform, I looked up slightly, gazing into the distance. The streetlights flickered on one by one. The faint yellow light fell on my weary face, adding a touch of loneliness. Just then, a red sedan drove over like a gust of wind and stopped abruptly not far from the bus stop. The car door quickly opened, and Bai Lingyao strode out. Her lip was still bruised, a mark from the fight, but the force in her eyes was less heavy than it had been in the restaurant. Instead, her expression was complex, mixed with urgency and confusion. She quickly walked up to me, slightly out of breath, and asked in a low voice, "Why didn't you reply to my messages? Did you not see them, or did you not want to reply?" Her tone carried a hint of imperceptible grievance. I slowly turned my head, looking at her calmly, my eyes completely unperturbed, as if Bai Lingyao was an insignificant stranger. I said plainly, "Miss Bai, do you need something else from me?" My tone was steady, but it felt like a cold knife piercing straight into Bai Lingyao's heart. Hearing such a cold response, a pang of pain shot through Bai Lingyao's heart. She couldn't stand my indifference towards her. Her brows furrowed tightly, her face flashing with a hint of anger mixed with unwillingness. She said in a deep voice, "Li Huowang, I fought that person for you. Don't you have anything to say?" Her voice unconsciously raised a few decibels, as if trying to draw my attention this way. Blocked by Bai Lingyao's near accusation, the annoyance in my heart intensified. I bit my lower lip slightly, a flicker of irritation in my eyes. However, I hadn't expected Bai Lingyao to actually fight for me tonight. I was silent for a few seconds, taking a deep breath to calm myself down. Looking at Bai Lingyao, I said softly yet firmly, "Miss Bai, don't do this kind of thing again. I won't feel grateful to you. I will only feel troubled." I stared intently into Bai Lingyao's eyes, as if to convey my innermost thoughts to her without reservation, choosing words that Bai Lingyao would least want to hear. "I don't need you to do this for me. In fact, if you hadn't shown up today, I wouldn't have been in trouble, and the restaurant wouldn't have this problem. Do you know how much inconvenience your impulsiveness has caused others? Our manager is still contacting the public relations department to handle this, and I've lost my job because of it." Although my voice was gentle, every word was like a needle pricking Bai Lingyao. Hearing these words, Bai Lingyao seemed frozen, her expression slowly changing from anger to astonishment. She opened her mouth, wanting to say something. Although my voice was gentle and my emotions stable, she genuinely felt my inner disgust and impatience towards her from my calm and mild exterior. She had been immersed in the memories of her past life since being reborn and couldn't adapt to this completely different me? I actually resented her? In her perception, this was simply outlandish. How was this possible? Seeing that Bai Lingyao didn't respond, I gently pushed past her. "If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving now." With that, I lifted my foot to depart. Bai Lingyao seemed to snap back to reality and immediately reached out and grabbed my hand. Squeezing it so hard, it felt like my wrist would shatter. She stared intensely at me, a hint of panic in her eyes, and asked urgently, "Why did you suddenly come out to work? Are you really short on money?" She was very confused, as I hadn't worked part-time in the previous life. My body stiffened slightly from her grip, I turned my head and gave her an unexpected answer. I didn't want to go back to the Bai family. I didn't want to see you. Bai Lingniao's grip immediately loosened, and she stood frozen, her expression indescribably complex. Shock, loss, and a never-before-seen helplessness. I pulled my hand away from Bai Lingniao just as a bus slowly pulled into the station. I didn't even look at the bus number and rushed aboard. The usually arrogant and self-centered Bai Lingniao stood rooted to the spot, looking somewhat hurt as she watched my retreating figure. I could feel her gaze, like a shackle, tightly locking onto me. But I didn't look back. I'm actually a very kind-hearted person. When I first came to the Bai house, seeing Bai Lingniao argue with her mother, run away from home, and even storm out in the pouring rain, I would always feel sorry for her. I would follow behind her, comfort her, buy her water, and give her my umbrella. However, my kindness didn't bring me a good reward. Bai Lingniao was accustomed to being the high and mighty young miss and took other people's kindness for granted. In my past life, I was blinded by love, but having gone through rebirth, I wouldn't make the same mistake again. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, Shi Hanmo quickly walked to the back door of the Jianyan Huohuo restaurant. The security guard at the door nodded slightly, seemingly familiar with her. She didn't stop, pushing open the back door and entering the restaurant. By the time Shi Hanmo arrived, the commotion in the restaurant had long been dealt with. The 3 beaten customers refused compensation and insisted on calling the police. Manager Wang had no choice but to contact the legal and public relations departments to deal with the matter. He also contacted the Bai family. Frankly speaking, since Bai Lingniao caused the trouble, the restaurant couldn't handle it unilaterally, so they had to involve the Bai family. The restaurant was willing to compensate and cooperate, but they couldn't agree to overly outrageous demands. Upon arriving, Shi Hanmo first went to her exclusive private room, dropped off her bag, and then walked around the front hall, scanning the service staff in their uniforms. Not seeing me, she frowned, then circled to the back to glance at the internal staff. Many people recognized Shi Hanmo and thought the boss had come to inspect, so they worked even harder. Just then, Manager Wang, who had finished handling the situation and came out of the office, saw Shi Hanmo and was instantly alarmed. He hurried over and asked cautiously, "Miss C, are you here to hold me accountable? This matter was indeed my oversight, but I never expected the new part-time worker to be Miss Bai's boyfriend, or I wouldn't have dared to hire him." Shi Hanmo stopped, turned her head expressionlessly, and stared intensely at Manager Wang with her deep gaze. Manager Wang, who had been working in the industry for over 10 years, felt uneasy being stared at by a young person for the first time. He explained somewhat nervously, "The matter has been mostly handled. We've handed it over to the legal and public relations departments. They will be here shortly." Shi Hanmo interrupted his explanation. "The Miss Bai you mentioned, is she Bai Lingniao from the Haicheng Bai family? Did she come over?" Manager Wang realized, so after all that explaining, Miss Shi didn't know about the incident, and certainly wasn't here to hold him accountable. Manager Wang sighed in relief. He wiped the non-existent cold sweat from his forehead and said to Shi Hanmo, "Yes. Miss Bai from the Bai family brought her friends over tonight. Her boyfriend happened to be at the restaurant and got into an argument with a customer, so Miss Bai rushed over and hit the person." Manager Wang recounted everything that happened in the restaurant that evening to Shi Hanmo. Shi Hanmo's frown deepened as she listened. She asked with a cold voice, "Those 3 customers were so rude, openly harassing our employee. Should we continue to host such members? Do we need these 3 customers?" Manager Wang paused, then hesitated. No, we don't need them." Shi Hanmo's voice was tinged with coldness. "Blacklist them. And what about that part-time worker? Is his name Li Huowang?" Manager Wang was even more surprised. "Yes, Ms. Jie, you know him too?" Shi Hanmo was a bit annoyed. She had been delayed because she was with her supervisor looking at plants in the field that afternoon. Who knew such a thing would happen? She rubbed her forehead. "It's not easy for part-time workers. Don't blame him." Cold sweat poured down Manager Wang's face. He only wanted to hire a part-timer, but it turned out he had invited a deity. First, Miss Bai fights for him, and now CEOC is protecting him, telling me not to blame him. The crucial thing was that he had already fired the person. Wiping his sweat, Manager Wang said, "CEO Shi, the part-time worker has already been dismissed by me." He collected his wages and left. Shi Hanmo looked at Manager Wang, frowned, and sighed. "Fine. If he's fired, he's fired. Handle this matter well. I'm leaving now." Saying this, she quickly turned to leave. Manager Wang quickly asked, "CEO Shi, why don't you eat before you go? Our restaurant launched a new dish today. You can try it." Shi Hanmo quickly returned to the private room, grabbed her backpack, and strode out the door. "No need. Maybe next time." I hadn't replied to the message Shi Hanmo sent me, which worried her a little. However, besides my WeChat, she didn't have my phone number. Although she knew where I lived, it was by Ling Niao's home, and it wouldn't be appropriate for her to go there. Helplessly, Shi Hanmo hailed a taxi and drove to the vicinity of the Dongshan Villa area. When she got out of the car, it was already past 9 p.m. She stood at the entrance of the villa area, checked her phone, and I still hadn't replied. However, she soon saw a figure on the roadside. It was me, coming back. I was annoyed. I didn't want to dwell on the grievances of the past life, yet Bai Ling Niao kept provoking me repeatedly. I paused in my steps, a terrifying thought surging in my heart. Could Bai Ling Niao also have been reborn? No way. If Bai Ling Niao was reborn, she should be looking for Fong Yuan and stopping him from going abroad. It doesn't make sense for her to have her, White Moonlight, nearby and still provoke me, the stand-in. As I thought this, I suddenly heard a clear, cool female voice, calling me in the night wind. I looked up and saw Shi Hanmo standing under a dim street lamp not far away. Shi Hanmo's face held a complex expression. She walked quickly towards me, staring at my face. I widened my eyes slightly in surprise. "Sister Xie, why are you here?" Shi Hanmo was silent for 2 seconds before saying, "It's my birthday today. I'm having a small gathering. I wanted to ask if you'd like to come." I was even more surprised. "Oh, is that so? Happy birthday, Sister Xie." As I spoke, I reached into my backpack, rummaging through it. Finding nothing, I finally took off the little chick plushie hanging on my backpack, blushing as I handed it to Shi Hanmo. "Happy birthday, Sister Xie. I didn't know beforehand and didn't buy you a gift. Here's my little chick charm." In my past life, Bai Ling Niao took this charm. This time, I had planned to keep it for myself. Shi Hanmo looked at the chick charm in my hand. It was yellow, with a red ring around its neck and a straw hat on its head. It was entirely fluffy and had a small bell hanging from its neck, looking very cute. Shi Hanmo immediately reached out and calmly took the chick charm. I felt Shi Hanmo's warm fingers brush against mine. My hand trembled, and I quickly pulled it back. Shi Hanmo glanced at me, noticed my cheeks were flushed, and slightly lowered her head, quickly attaching the chick charm to her crossbody bag. She whispered, "This is perfect. I love it very much." I felt the charm was a bit too casual to give as a gift, but Sister Xie seemed genuinely happy. Shi Hanmo asked me, "We're going singing. Do you want to come with us?" Although it was a question, her eyes were fixed on me, full of expectation. I was also in a terrible mood right now. If Mrs. Bai found out that Bai Ling Niao had gotten into a fight in the restaurant for me, she might secretly add something to my food again. I immediately nodded. "Should we leave now?" Shi Hanmo nodded, using a mobile app to call a taxi. At this moment, she suddenly regretted arguing with her parents and running away from home to study agriculture. She should have driven her Maybach with her. Her grandfather gave her that car, and it wasn't bought with her parents' money, so she should have been able to take it. Taking taxis with Li Huowang all the time wasn't ideal. She would be renting an apartment soon and still needed to take Li Huowang out. No, I should buy a car soon. I still have some money. While pondering this, she sent a message to her group chat. "It's my birthday today. You must come to Langsan KTV." There were only 7 people in the group chat. Some of the classmates were still in the field and hadn't returned, and others were busy catching up on assignments and papers. When they saw the message, they were initially excited. "Holy cow, Kime! You finally remembered to treat your brothers and sisters to a meal. Miss C is treating. We must show up." "Perfect. I haven't eaten yet. I'm going for the expensive stuff today." "Wait, Chime. If I remember correctly, your birthday is in July, isn't it? The date doesn't match up. Is this really your birthday?" The taxi arrived. Shi Hanmo opened the car door for me. She watched me get in, then walked around to the other side and got in herself. Once inside, she replied on her phone, "I said it is, so it is. You'll know when you get here." Then she added, "I'm bringing a friend. Don't let anything slip." After sending the message, she turned off her phone. My mood remained low. Shi Hanmo turned to me and asked, "Do you want some milk tea?" "I heard drinking milk tea makes you feel better," I countered. "Sister Jie, do you want some? Should I buy some for you?" When Shi Hanmo and I arrived, several classmates from her study group were already there, 3 boys and 3 girls. Including Shi Hanmo and me, there were 8 people in total. They were excited when Shi Hanmo arrived. "Kime, you're finally here. We've been waiting for you." A slightly plump, glasses-wearing female classmate rushed over, trying to hug Shi Hanmo. Shi Hanmo reacted quickly. She pulled me aside, frowning. "Slow down. Be careful not to bump into anyone. Li Huowang is so thin. It would be bad if he got hit." The classmates in the room finally saw me following behind Shi Hanmo. Their eyes widened slightly in shock. One tall male student said in surprise, "Hanmo, did you bring a boyfriend?" The crowd instantly erupted in cheers and jeers. "Whoa, no way, Chime has a boyfriend?" I blushed, feeling a little embarrassed, and looked at Shi Hanmo. Shi Hanmo smiled. She pulled me over and said to the group, "Don't talk nonsense. His name is Li Huowang. He's a junior from the university across the street. He's not my boyfriend." The others said, "Oh," with knowing expressions. They understood. He wasn't her boyfriend now, but he probably would be later. However, they had never seen Shi Hanmo get close to any boy. She had always been aloof and kept everyone at a distance. This was the first time her classmates had seen someone, let alone a male student, following her around. The classmates immediately exchanged knowing glances. Shi Hanmo is even faking her birthday to ask him out. Looks like she's interested in him. Everyone's eyes were full of gossip. One female classmate handed me a bottle of Coke, saying warmly, "Hi, Junior. I'm Yang Xinyu. You can call me sister." I was about to speak when Shi Hanmo said coldly, "You've been adopting little brothers everywhere since the semester started. You must have a truckload of them by now." Yang Xinyu retorted defensively, "This one is different. This little brother looks much more obedient." Shi Hanmo said to me in a low voice, "Don't mind them. Come eat some fruit." She put a fruit platter in front of me and started peeling an orange for me. The people in the room watched us with strange looks. I felt quite uncomfortable being stared at. They couldn't say anything to our faces, but they were chatting heatedly in their group chat. Good heavens, Kime has good taste. This junior is really handsome. Is Kime pursuing him? Should we help give her a push? They chatted a lot in the group, but Shi Hanmo didn't reply until Yang Xinyu said the last sentence. Shi Hanmo immediately replied in the group, "How should we push?" The classmates exchanged glances. Yang Xinyu took a strand of her hair and looked at me. Yang Xinyu put down her phone and lowered the music. She smiled sweetly. Come on! The essential party game, truth or dare! Who wants to play?" Someone in the group complained, "Can't we be more original? This again?" Yang Xinyu glared, giving Shi Hanmo a subtle look. "I'm helping you pursue your man. Do I have to teach you how to cooperate?" Yang Xinyu shouted, "Chime, do you want to play?" Shi Hanmo looked a little helpless and turned to me. "Huowang, do you want to play?" Although Truth or Dare was popular at college gatherings, I had never played it. Hearing them talk about it now, I was a little interested. "Sure." Yang Xinyu was overjoyed. "Great! Then let's all play. I'll get the cards." The group surrounded the coffee table, sitting in a circle on the sofa. I leaned towards Shi Hanmo and asked, "Sister Xie, since it's your birthday today, did you buy a cake?" If I hadn't mentioned it, Shi Hanmo would have almost forgotten it was her birthday. Shi Hanmo was silent for 2 seconds. "I had cake at noon, so I didn't buy one for tonight." As she said this, Shi Hanmo felt a little guilty. However, I didn't think too much about it. I didn't doubt Shi Hanmo's words. It seemed normal. Who would expect someone to even fake their birthday? Just then, Yang Xinyu brought the cards over. 8 people were seated around the sofa. Yang Xinyu happened to sit on my other side. She excitedly put the cards on the table. Quick! Draw a card!" Since their Chime finally set her sights on a junior, they had to go all out to help her pursue him. After everyone drew a card, Yang Xinyu loudly asked, "Who has the king card? Flip it over and let's see." Everyone checked their cards. Shi Hanmo flipped hers over and put it on the table. It was A2. This was my first time playing such a game. I flipped my card over. It was the king card. Shi Hanmo raised an eyebrow and looked at Yang Xinyu. Yang Xinyu gave her an innocent look, meaning she didn't manipulate anything. It was fate. Yang Xinyu brought over 2 small boxes. "Come on, little junior. Do you choose truth or dare?" I hesitated for a moment. "Truth, I guess." As soon as I spoke, the surrounding seniors' eyes lit up. "Ooh, truth. Little junior, you can't go back on your word." A female senior smiled, took a small slip of paper from a box labeled Truth, and handed it to me. "Little junior, open it and see the question." I took the slip and slowly unfolded it. Yang Xinyu leaned over and read aloud. "When was your first love?" Everyone stared at me intently. Even Shi Hanmo next to me leaned slightly, unable to help but look at me. I hesitated for a few seconds. If I were talking about this lifetime, I definitely hadn't had a first love yet. But if I counted the past life, I started having a crush on Bing Yao when I was 18 and got together with her when I was 19. I hadn't lost my memory. I clearly remembered the past life. After that not-so-wonderful relationship, I could never return to the innocent, youthful state of a first love. I smiled awkwardly, giving a vague answer. It was back when I was in school. I didn't specify which school, which was basically the same as saying nothing. Everyone looked at me, then at Shi Hanmo. Shi Hanmo's expression was a little stiff, and her eyes also showed a trace of regret. "In school? So when was that?" Yang Xinyu cleared her throat. "Junior, it's only been a month since school started for us. Was your first love just now? Who's your girlfriend?" I rolled up the paper and put it back into the box. I said a little sheepishly, "Sister, it wasn't after this enrollment, it was high school puppy love." At this point, a girl chimed in. "Actually, I started liking a boy when I first entered kindergarten. Does a crush count as a first love?" Another boy also joked, "If you put it that way, I've had someone I liked since I was 3. Shi Hanmo's expression softened upon hearing this. That made sense. Yang Xinyu was speechless. Fine. You all had first loves. Everyone had a first love, all right? Let's move on to the next round." In the second round, a female senior drew the king card. She chose Dare. Yang Xinyu read the slip aloud. "Choose a person and sit on their lap for 5 minutes." The crowd started teasing. "Oh no, don't choose me, my old knees can't handle it." Amidst the laughter, the girl happily said, "I choose Sister Shangxiang." She chose another girl. The game quickly continued. This time, it was Shi Hanmo's turn to draw the card. She flipped the card over, smiled, and said, "I choose Dare." Yang Xinyu immediately presented the drawing box, giving her a secret, meaningful glance. Yang Xinyu's hint was too obvious. Shi Hanmo looked a little helpless. Following Yang Xinyu's hint, she picked up a slip of paper. After she opened it, Yang Xinyu took it and read aloud, "Interlace fingers with the person to your right for 10 minutes. The crowd instantly erupted. "Wow, Chime, you're lucky." A tall, broad-shouldered senior to Shi Hanmo's left loudly shouted, "Hey, don't go too far! You'll scare the little junior away!" How about this? Pime, you hold my hand. My hands sweat a little, but it's not a big deal. You don't mind, right? Come on, Kime. Saying this, he reached out to grab Shi Hanmo's hand. Shi Hanmo quickly tucked her hand into her pocket. The man was still grabbing Shi Hanmo's arm and trying to pull it out. "Oh, don't be shy, I don't mind, so why should you? Come on, Chime." Shi Hanmo reluctantly backed away. "Stop messing around. I'm not holding yours." Yang Xinyu also walked over and stopped the man. Then she said, "You have to follow the rules, understood?" "Little junior," Yang Xinyu said with a sweet smile, "it's just a game. You don't mind, do you?" I watched them joke around, feeling a little envious of their friendship. I shook my head, slightly embarrassed. "No, I don't mind." Saying this, I even reached out my hand, smiling sweetly at Shi Hanmo. Shi Hanmo's ears turned slightly red. She said with a calm expression, "Thank you." Then, her right hand and my left hand interlocked. My fingers threaded one by one through hers, gently holding her fair, soft hand. As soon as our hands touched, my face instantly flushed bright red. This was my first time interlacing fingers with a girl. This type of hand-holding was very intimate and usually only happened between lovers. Yet, in my 5 years with Bing Yao in the past life, we never held hands like this. The game continued, but my heart was racing. Almost all my senses were focused on my held left hand. I felt nervous and stiff, and my cheeks were burning. Shi Hanmo, on the other hand, sat there outwardly composed. However, anyone who knew her well could tell from her slightly stiff movements and slightly delayed reactions that her inner state was far from normal. She was so nervous. This feeling was so strange. I secretly moved my hand, trying to pull it back, but Shi Hanmo's grip was too tight. I couldn't get free.